everyone, and welcome to the Daily Grind, revitalized, rebranded, reinvigorated, and ready to go. I'm one of your hosts, Sean Kopp. You can find me at the Shaunzy on Twitter, as well as active in the Gamer Den Facebook, and I'm joined by my distinguished host, Myles Eshenique. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm doing real well. I'm glad that we decided to have another go at this and get the band back together.
Yes, no, it's good. We talked about this probably a week and a half ago or so. And we're like, you know what? Let's get back on that wagon, get back in the saddle, and hit it. So
why not?
Coming at you.
I feel like it's a good time too. We're in the middle of a summer lull. We're going into what's looking to be a big fall as far as video game activity, not unlike all other falls, but this one is definitely showing some promise.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest one on the horizon for me is Destiny 2.
Yeah.
But there are some other sleepers in there that I'm probably not even aware of at this point.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too, and I want to get into that for sure. Like, there's looking through some of the games that are going to be coming out this fall. There's a lot of them that, you know, are claimed to be big games that I haven't even heard of. So
yeah,
it's probably just due to a busy lifestyle, family life, not as much time for games. You've been traveling a little bit more, especially down to San Diego. Like, there's some things that just kind of build up, and we end up falling behind a little bit on what used to be more of a hobby of ours, that like staying in the know on what's coming out and what to look for.
Yeah, and so I think part of this revitalization is just challenging myself as well to be a little more of a Renaissance gamer and fitting some other games in the mix. We kind of have a one-track mind when it comes to games lately, it feels like.
Yeah, and overall, I'm pretty unapologetic for that. I mean, there are going to be things that just strike my fancy straight up, and games that I think about quite often, and the most recent one being PUBG, or PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah. It seems like everyone and their mother has heard of it. A very popular game on Twitch. In some ways echoing the H1Z1 and King of the Hill and the Arma mod. Did you ever play any of those, especially H1Z1?
I don't think. Wait. Is that the Verge? Because they started out as DayZ and then they transitioned into H1Z1.
I'm not even sure the whole.
I thought there was some drama with that. It could be mistaken.
Most
a while
likely.
Now.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, I don't even know the origin of how these games kind of came about. But
yeah, I think it kind of kicked off with DayZ and then Rust, and I think H1Z1 was like the branching off of, I don't know. I stopped following because I got frustrated with this genre and just kind of noped out of it, and then heard about this game and it seemed pretty intriguing, so we jumped on in, and it has been intriguing. All right, so
yeah. Well, let's just move into what we've been playing since PUBG's kind of been at the top of the list. Let's talk about PUBG.
All right, let's start off the top. I just pulled it up.
Right.
I have 94 hours in the game. How many hours do you have?
I'm more than that. Let me take a little look-see, but it definitely has been one of those games that that has me thinking about it and wanting to play it more, because the experience this is my thought on like the draw of the game for me, is that there's always so much potential at the beginning of every game for victory, failure, memorable stories, big plays, surprises. I've got 143 hours logged on it.
Oh,
so,
man.
Yeah.
So those solos you've been doing.
Yeah. So most people have played the game. If you haven't, it's on PC. It's going to be coming to Xbox, I guess, by the end of the year. It is in early access, but 100 people drop onto an island with different cities, hotspots, looting guns and a little bit of armor, all in a modern, or not a modern, but a classic setting of like Russian foothills with AK-47s, M16s, and it's a last man standing. There's a zone that pushes everybody together and slowly constricts, pushing all the combatants until there's only one remaining team or individual. So yeah, I mean, okay? Let me say this. What's your favorite way to play this game?
I have taken to I like playing the perimeter a bit and positioning myself in between warring squads, or individuals if I'm playing solo. So I'll try and be a little more patient and sit around the perimeter of the circle rather than like making a beeline to get to the perimeter of the circle. Right. Instead, I do this roundabout thing where I'll eventually be in the circle by following the greater outer circle into it. But if I need to cut in and time's low, I will try and listen, see where the gunshots are coming for, and split the difference, and hopefully take cover in between. But usually their line of sight is kind of focused on each other and not like the inner circle, unless everyone's making a run for it, and then it's just it's a crapshoot at that point. Do you
enjoy playing the game in squad, duos, or solos best?
Duo, definitely.
Yeah, same here.
I liked squad initially, but I think the thing that gets frustrating in squad is when you down someone, you're like, all right, good, but then their three other guys get you or whatever. Like, there's just a lot more whack-a-mole to be done, and making sure people are down and out rather than down but not out. Right. So, but I think I like to play it a little more kind of cagey, I guess, and observant. I don't really like to jump into the hot zones like the military base or anything like that.
Yeah.
So that's my.
I think the best way that you can get better at this game is to drop into those hot zones. Like, just play solos, drop in, get your audio, awareness and your situational awareness down. It forces you to learn to loot some of these guns a little bit faster and recognize what something is by looking at it rather than hovering over for the item name, and then tightening up the gunplay, because gunplay is so important in this game when you really only have a couple shots until you could be eliminated.
Yeah, this is one of the only games that I've played that I can think of that semi-automatic fire is going to get you places. Going for even the burst or the full auto does not seem to be the ticket unless you're engaging like in real close quarters, because you got to get the bullets and you got to get them on target, and that's something I find
that in this game. You have a limited time frame to do that. Like the kill window is small.
Yes, if it's a different game too, when like you're playing a squad and you're like, well, I gotta make sure my shots count because the three other members of his squad they're gonna hone in and they're gonna kill me unless the rest of my squad is also ready to return fire. So it turned into this like, well, unless we are all four ready to fire on them, I probably shouldn't be shooting unless I could at least kill one guy.
It's also a little bit more difficult to approach a team of four people as a team of four people without them noticing. It's you got many more eyes, much less surprises, and the other thing that I really don't like about squads, and I think it's just my play style trying to take like the lead and get people to move in a direction. I end up getting wrecked, and then I'm able to give that information to my team, but then I'm out of the game. Or if somebody dies before me, I feel bad because this game really caters to just being like start over, because you're not going to win the game every time. Like your squad of people isn't even going to win the game every time. Like you're going to die early, and you want to be able to reset and go into it again. That's why I think duos is a sweet spot. And I find something really, in some ways, relaxing about playing solo, because nobody's depending on me to really come through. Like all decisions fall upon my shoulders and my shoulders alone.
Yeah, and one of the things I really appreciate about solo is also that if you knock someone out, they're dead instantly because no one else can pick them up. Right. And that's really satisfying to just, they're dead. I didn't understand that. Like when we first started playing, it would say you knocked so-and-so out with the headshot with the Kar 98. And I'm sitting here like, that guy should be dead. Yeah. I don't get it. But over time, obviously, you pick up on that. But I that threw me off for a while when we were doing the squad play. But no, I think this game, going back to what Shaun said about the squad of four, approaching a squad of four, we neglected to say that this is a third-person shooter by default. You can switch over to first-person, but third-person, so you get a little bit of extra viewing angles and perspective around corners and stuff like that while remaining safe. So that especially makes it hard to sneak up on people when the circle's small and everyone's already on edge. So
it also lends itself to being third-person with a pretty wide field of view. It lends itself really well to camping, because you'll be able to see people approach and get angles on them that they might not have on you. So I think what I heard was like USA, like North American servers are like well known for being some of the biggest camping servers, where people have collectively decided to play the game in this fashion.
Are you talking about it specific to this game, or like? Yeah. Okay.
No, like specific to this game. I mean, a little bit more of a careful, methodical approach rather than turning it into something that's, more actiony and.
Well, look, man, Manifest Destiny is over. We made it westward, and we're just camping now. We're just right. Kicking our feet up on the beaches in California.
Yeah. We're happy where we're at. So, I don't know. PUBG has kind of been like this, a little bit of a godsend as kind of like a break in the basically era of Rainbow Six Siege for the group.
If we had a timeline for this group, that'd be kind of a fun graphic to do.
Yeah, it would. But Rainbow Six Siege still holds up. I guess, they're finally making, as a group, we've sunk so much time into that game, and it's been very rewarding. All of us have gotten our money's worth, to be sure. 50 times over, most likely.
Let me tell you my time played in this game. You want to take a guess?
It's probably like 300 hours or so, I'd say.
Whoa. No, I'm at 177 right now.
Okay. I don't know. I have no relative time frame. I don't even have mine up. But Rainbow Six Siege still holds up. Like it's real good. I have 216 hours logged on Siege.
How are you outplaying me?
I don't know. I think that there might be like AFK times and stuff like that. But well, first of all, you probably have 60 hours over me and Zelda. So there's like 60 hours right there that I was doing something else. But Rainbow Six Siege, like, it still holds up. What's funny is like I was kind of like, I was feeling a little banged up on the game. I wasn't really executing well. I've been playing a bunch of PUBG. Come into the game like 3 days ago, and I just play one game for the night, and I get 12 kills. And I was like,
oh my!
I was like, okay, I guess something clicked, or just coming back with fresh eyes. But the game's still a lot of fun, and it's much better with friends. And I'm glad that we always have that in our back pocket for a big group of people. To just be like, you want to play Siege for a couple hours,
Yeah, the thing I'll say about Siege relative to PUBG, because that seems to be the direction we're taken for this podcast at the moment, is, looking at the time I've played in Rainbow Six Siege versus the time I played in PUBG. I have a lot more footage of doing cool stuff in Rainbow Six than I do in PUBG, and I think a lot of that is due to the drop phase, looting, and then you strike out by getting ambushed randomly.
Yeah,
and that happens again. So
in PUBG, there's a lot of time that's building up towards some sort of confrontation, which makes the game exciting. Whereas every confrontation in Rainbow Six is restarting every 5 minutes, basically. So you have a lot more opportunities to shine in Rainbow Six. You can pull off a lot of crazy moves or great shots, and then you have a fresh opportunity. Whereas the story, the arc of PUBG is how long can you make it in the game? How long can you survive? And so that lends itself towards lull periods in the game, and games and time periods where you're just running on this giant map to get to a safe zone. And those aren't exciting moments, but they lend themselves well to the build up to, again, what is the next opportunity to try and outperform in the game or outlast. But yeah, so as far as Rainbow Six and PUBG, they've been really kind of godsends as far as keeping some group activity alive in the Gamer Den overall. By the way, you can find us at gamerdengroup.net and also on Facebook.
Just gamerden.net.
Gamerden.net. Excuse me. Yeah, it's a new address. Gamerden.net. Check us out. As far as the group goes, those have been great games for us, that have been longevity games, especially in this period of summer where there is a lull. It's a noticeable inhale for the gaming enthusiasts. It's we know something's coming and there are going to be big things, and we're just kind of waiting for the time being, and we're just kind of nibbling on the bone until the next steak comes, and I don't know, I've just been really happy with those games because they encourage discussion in our community. They allow players chances to shine and be heroes and to tell stories, and I think they're really great games.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed seeing each and every one of the Gamer Den members coming through clutch in one game or the other, and have some footage in Rainbow Six of people doing that. Have some not in the first person necessarily in pub, because I won't be dead and they'll be on the other side of a building or something and I'm not watching, but people pull off some awesome stuff, and the excitement I've never really sensed quite as much. Even playing League of Legends or anything else, I just think the level of enthusiasm and just pure glee and pure defeat and agony and everything in between has been experienced in these last two games that we've played.
Yeah.
It brings out something in us all, I think, and that's been fun for everyone too.
It's been good because we all kind of push each other to learn more, get a little better, and to become more invested in these games, where we, just like League of Legends, you would have, these, oh, it's a really good Syndra player, or oh, his Ashe is just off the charts, and you have these moments where everyone's waiting for you to kind of take your skills and apply them to the team goal. And it's the same thing here, where we're all working together, we're all invested in a game, we all have a common I guess dialogue and vocabulary that we're using to discuss the game with each other. We can recognize clips that that show off skill, and like, oh my god, how did he do that? And like, I can't believe that he just pulled that off. But yeah, they've been great games, very emblematic, I think, of our community in the Gamer Den, and it'll be fun to kind of like take that community that's been built around these games, and to take that shared enthusiasm, shared interest, and apply it to games like Destiny 2 or like Fortnite or like these other games that are coming in with the fall, where we start talking to each other, getting bigger groups on these games. Even Destiny, for example, like we had a core like squad of like maybe 7 people, 8 people.
Yeah.
And then, you look at something like Rainbow Six or PUBG, you got like at least probably like, any given night there's at least like maybe 10 people on. So it's been good to see our group and our community grow around these games.
Yeah, I think the other thing that's happened in the last year, while we're sort of doing a recap from the last time we recorded, is Discord, actually. So
yes.
as opposed to the awkwardness of Skype calls and pulling people in, and I tried pulling him in but he was AFK, so now I can't pull him back in, and like all these just obnoxious things have been remedied by Discord, which is free, and everyone can jump in and on and into different rooms if we're doing some versus stuff.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of living in a dorm in college, where like people would have different games set up in their room, or we'd all be connected playing Halo against each other. Like you can just like pop in and say hi, what's going on, and then pop out and join this game, and then pop in and ask people if they want to play this. Like Discord's been great for our community, and I encourage anybody within our group to hop on Discord and start talking to us, and just say hi, get game recommendations, things like that.
Yeah, and even outside of that, hardware recommendations, movies, books, TV shows, whatever. I think we all
gifts of people getting hurt.
Yes, that's a common feature in the chat there. So that hay bale one, was rough. Yeah. But no, Discord I think has definitely sort of I don't know, just brought us back together in addition to these 2 games. So I think it's going to be nice to sort of dovetail that into some more cooperative angled play rather than against other players. In Destiny, Fortnite, we'll be playing against AI, so some more PvE stuff as opposed to all the PvP stuff we've been so immersed in lately.
Yeah. I think it'll be awesome. I think where, like, especially with your vision and your enthusiasm on getting some of this video content going at our YouTube page, you can look up the Gamer Den on YouTube, especially with contributions from all of our, like, many of our team, our collective have posted. Yeah, the Cubbies have posted videos, and it's been great. It's been good to see people getting invested in the community, in the overall umbrella of Gamer Den, and I'm looking forward to just creating more content and living the Cubby life in the Gamer Den. So, well, I think that's enough on Rainbow Six PUBG. They're good games. They're I don't know how well they're gonna fare when it comes September, October, November, but they will always be something where we come back to. Hopefully, if the game's still alive and thriving.
Yeah. So real quickly, you've mentioned the word story quite a few times when talking about PUBG. So, what is your best, favorite, worst, the most memorable story from PUBG so far?
It's got to be like one of my solo wins for sure. Because a lot of the times that we've gotten chicken knitter as a squad, I've actually died in combat, and it took maybe 1 or 2 people with me, but then tried to be a voice, kind of an observer in the squad wins. But some of my solo games, like I think it was the one where I got 8 kills. That's my personal best in solo. I got 8 kills. Played the last bit really well, we were moving up onto like a hilly area, or we were forced up onto a hilly area. Or two guys to my left. I ended up clipping one of them, and the other one got shot by that guy. So it was kind of like good positioning and good awareness. And then what it finally came down to was just cresting over the hill, and the other two players were engaged with each other. Both had great positioning. One was crouched in grass over the hill. The other one was behind a tree, and I had vision of the tree guy because he was standing up. I take a shot at him. We maybe shot simultaneously, me and the guy in the grass. We brought him down, and I'm wondering where this guy is, like, because it's a really small zone. And I just start running up over the hill, just trying to like get him to take a shot or something like that. And I see him still looking over to where the guy was, and it was just 2 headshots, and finish it off for the chicken dinner. So it was a long progression and very kind of active gung-ho mentality that got me my chicken dinner that time. And that's been my greatest story for sure. How about you?
That's sweet poultry.
Yeah.
My best tale of what I've coined cannibirdism, which is McSeagull eating chicken, is the duo game I had with Nathan, which you could see on YouTube. Put just the highlights on there as opposed to the whole round. But that was a good one. Otherwise, probably one of the funnier moments was we were driving in a car, and I think maybe Ryan was driving, and he hit this hill, did a 360 in the car, landed, kept going like nothing happened. We're like, okay, that was absurd. Later on, same road we're driving, he just sees this guy, and the guy's running towards the barricade thinking it's going to save his life. Ryan, nope, I don't care about that, just drives up onto the barricade and plows the shit out of him. And like in this game, you don't run over someone, it kind of just like plows them and they go flying. And if you get hit by a grenade too, you kind of go flying, which is weird. But so we knocked that guy way out, jumped out of the car, downed him, and then some people in our squad got downed, and then I killed the remainder of the squad by myself. So that was pretty dope, like cinematic thing that happened.
Yeah, that feels really good to just like execute on that level. So as far as some kind of new things that have happened since our last recording, there's been a new console that came out, and that's the Nintendo Switch, and both you and I have procured one. How are you enjoying your Switch?
I got it, at launch, waited in line at midnight. I wasn't going to buy it, and of course, as the date came closer, I was like,
that sounds fun.
I'm going to get this. I know I'm going to get this. So, of course, instead of pre-ordering it and everything else, I started calling around. Use this website, I think it's called Brick Seek or something like that, where you can check the stock of, I think it's Target and Walmart.
Okay.
So I found that the one here in town had one, so I called them, and they said they had like 17 extra units available that weren't on pre-order. So Rachel was actually in town at that point, and I was like, she landed that night, and I was like, I kind of wanted to go get the Switch, and she's like, really? So we went and got that. Got the Switch, didn't get to play it for like probably a week afterwards because something else came up in between that time, maybe travel, I don't remember at this point. But playing it, I only picked up Zelda, really, and then later Snipper Clips.
Oh no, that's not true. I did get Bomberman. That game hasn't seen a lot of play, I'll tell you that much. But Zelda's the big one. You've beat it, right?
I have not. So I spent a lot of time going for the shrines. So I
haven't beat it yet either. That's why I asked.
I'm close. I found out that you got to go through get a lot of shrines to get the Master Sword. So I got that, and then lost some momentum, I'll say. But just this week, I picked it back up. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get back into it. So started up on the bird, the Divine Beast. That's a bird. I don't know their name. They're kind of weird.
Yeah, I forget that one. That's where that was my first. No, that was my second one. My second Divine Beast. I'm only at 2 Divine Beasts. It's kind of like interesting that we talk about this right now without without talking about it at all beforehand, but I just started picking it up again this week, and just kind of like refamiliarizing myself with the controls.
It's weird, right? Because the buttons aren't the same as what you would do on an Xbox controller. So A is the button that usually just by default selects, confirms whatever in a game. On this controller selects. It's the same letter, but it's off to the right where B is on Xbox controller. So that threw me pretty hard when I first started playing, and even switching
just, like,
back
learning
and forth between the two.
The combat has a little flair of Dark Souls in it. A little bit of that. You can get hurt really hard, really easy if the enemies out level you. You feel like you always have weak weapons in the game, and like going back into combat and just like, and also like just going into this open world game, huge open world, and trying to figure out what I was supposed to do. Like, where did I leave this game off? So I just started playing it like I feel like you should, just wandering around, checking a quest log, seeing if you can find like a little like breadcrumb trail. And just seeing where you ought to go. And I've been picking it up again. It's kind of one of these things where I'll like bring it with in my work bag when I'm around town, and I'll like put in a little bit of time at lunch or something like that. Or I'll take like a 15-minute break and wander around in the game. And so I mean, like, it's a great portable device. What do you think about the Switch as hardware?
So Switch is hardware. I haven't really
the Switch as hardware, I should say.
Yeah, I haven't really played it by itself. I usually play it docked. Right. So what I did was route the video feed into my monitor and also the sound into my computer, so then I can hear the game and see it on my monitor and still be on Discord and talking to people and stuff while I'm wandering around.
Remind me later. I want to figure out how you got the sound to come through, because like as far as I know, it's just an HDMI, or did you use the auxiliary?
So
we'll talk about it later. About it later.
Yeah, we'll talk technical stuff later.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's kind of how I want to do it. Like I'd like to try and figure out a way to get it to like display on my PC with my video capture card. But right now that thing's being finicky, to say the least. I got to figure out what's going on with drivers and installs and all that. But Zelda, man, that game is like, it's one of those games that I kind of wish I didn't have any other games just so I could play Zelda. Like, if that was my only game. Like, because there's just so much in that game to be curious about, and so many little nooks and
your
crannies.
Curiosity is rewarded in this game.
Yeah. You find new characters, new shrines. It encourages you to explore by rewarding you with fast travel points. So what were you gonna say? Sorry.
I was gonna circle back to the hardware. The device in hand feels a little weird. Feels a little wide to me. I felt that way about the Wii U gamepad, I believe, or tablet. I don't remember what it was actually called. That thing, it just feels a little weird in hand. I like how thin it is, though.
I do like
as
that.
compared to the Wii U. It looks a lot better on the screen than it does scaled up.
Yeah,
I think, and it's smoother gameplay, I think. But even still, that tiny screen, I think it's small. I'm just used to having 3 monitors in my face, so there's that. But the hardware itself feels good. The side things that disconnect, I also don't know exactly what those are called. They're not chucks of any kind. They're not like nunchucks or ninchucks. But
what are those called?
Yeah, see, I just can't.
Little widgets.
There we go. No. So those things feel fun, and they feel surprisingly substantial. That's what you play snipper clips with, and you just detach one, and one player uses one, and you detach the other, and the other player uses it. But they feel surprisingly good in hand, despite that hard edge that connects to. It's like just a hard straight line edge that connects back to the Switch itself. But they still feel good in hand.
They feel good. They feel a little bit like toys, in a way.
Yeah.
They're called Joy-Cons.
Joy-Cons, okay.
Joy-Cons, yeah.
What I think is Probably my second favorite controller of all time is
And
the
the
Pro controller for the Nintendo Switch.
It's
oh
so
my
very
goodness.
good. And I can't wait to play Splatoon 2 on it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, because I think Splatoon 1 had you using the tablet, if I recall correctly, and that just was a wide thing. It felt weird. The aiming relied on some tilt in some instances, or you can turn it off. I just wasn't a fan. So
looking forward to just some traditional shooting on the right stick.
Yeah, the thing I will
that
say
controller
that
is really just glorious. It controls so well. Everything feels really responsive and tight. It's so good.
Yeah, I think it's second to GameCube, and then third after that would be the Xbox Elite controller. The Xbox Elite controller just feels a little more weighty and substantial, and one of the things I find myself doing with the Switch controller is trying to pull off the top of the joystick, because they're removable on the Xbox Elite controller, and I just kind of fidget in that way. So I just pull them off, and
it's
on,
just like a pluck and pop. Yeah,
it's super satisfying. But excellent controller. I would recommend getting one to use with your PC if you don't already have one, because you can connect it via Bluetooth. From what I
I haven't done that yet. I remember hearing that. Yeah.
But it's fantastic controller. So that's what I would recommend to even not Nintendo fanboys or whatever. So.
Sure.
But yeah, I think that's what I'd say about the Switch so far.
I love the Switch too. I love the price point. Again, with it being Nintendo and kind of in this weird spot, I think you're going to see a lot more of Nintendo's first party games really shine on it. But if you like Nintendo games and you like being able to bring something that's portable and unique, I think the Switch is a must buy, especially if you like Zelda, especially if you like Mario. Mario Odyssey shows a lot of promise coming out this fall. Splatoon 2 looks great, and more of the same. I think Miles and I would love to have some more teammates on that. Chris
just ordered a Switch, so he's
great.
in on that.
Yeah, all right.
Yep. Got a third.
Then there were 3. So I guess maybe what we'll do here is we'll kind of wrap up the episode, because it was just good to get our wheels under us again. Next episode, which we're aiming for next week, or even earlier perhaps, we'll be discussing why this draw of multiplayer games appeals to us personally. With Rainbow Six, PUBG, and we're also going to discuss going into the fall what games we're really excited for, what games really look like they hold promise for our group, and anything else you want to talk about, Miles?
I think that's about it from my end. This feels good to get back into it, so I look forward to doing this again.
Yeah, same here. Looking forward to recording it up, giving you guys some more audio pleasure, oral
candy.
Is that right? Yeah, oral candy. Oral pleasure is a different
thing.
Whoa,
aural.
Right.
They gotta really emphasize the A.
Exactly, the AU. AU wants some oral pleasure. Okay, that should be enough for us tonight. We will be seeing you guys on the battlefield, and please check out our website. That's gamerden.net. And check us out on YouTube at The Gamer Den. We've been putting up some really fun content, especially as it pertains to the past 2 games that we've been talking about. And check me out on Twitch at the Shaunsie, twitch.tv / the ShaunSie. Miles, you are on Twitch as well from time to time?
Yes, Flock of Miles. Same Twitter handle, same Instagram. That's usually my social media thing. So,
cool. All right. Well, until next time, congratulations. You've dinged and leveled up on the daily grind. We will be seeing you next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.